breaking news. This per everyone, and actually per the Eagles as well. The Eagles have fired Kevin Patullo.
Yes.
Eliot, Nick Sirianni, it put out a statement. What did it say?
So this per Nick Sirianni, quote, "I've decided to make a change at offensive coordinator. I met with Kevin today to discuss the difficult decision, as he is a great coach who has my utmost respect. He has been integral to the team's success over the last 5 years, not only to the on-field product, but behind the scenes as a valued leader for our players and organization. I have no doubt he will continue to have a successful coaching career. Ultimately, when we fall short of our goals, that responsibility lies on my shoulders."
Well,
End quote.
It doesn't seem like it does.
Yeah, ultimately, it clearly does not.
Yeah, it seems like the responsibility lies on Kevin Patullo's shoulders.
Right, or at least Kevin's the one that's catching all the blame for it.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. I do think it is red meat for everyone.
For sure.
Someone has to pay. I made the comparison earlier. I remember when Milt Thompson got fired as Phillies hitting coach. You fired that person. It really has nothing to do with that person. It's funny. They're clearly going to interview a bunch of people this time. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the decision to hire Patullo when they didn't interview anybody. It just shows you should have the same process when you win as when you lose. And that's
a good point.
You know, they now they do have an opportunity here. And we said earlier they couldn't wait because with the amount of coaching openings right now, there are going to be quarterback coaches, pass game coordinators, all those, even offensive coordinators, and now they don't have a job, are going to land in other places. And if they want their pick of everything, they should do it now. Do you think they end up going with somebody established? So I guess there's a few different levels. And then, so level one is the Reich sort of guy, right? Is the guy in Baltimore, Monken, who is not going to be a head coach candidate. They're past that point in their career. There is option two. There is the hot shot, right? There is Mike McDaniel. There's Cliff Kingsbury. There is Brian Daboll. There's the hot shot that's going to be a head coach again at some point. And then there's the under the radar. There is the younger guys. There's I brought up Josh McCown last year, but maybe a quarterback's coach somewhere. Who do you which category do you think they go with, Ike?
Well, I hope they go with a veteran for a couple of reasons. I think it brings stability to the position as long as Nick is the head coach, right? Because you're going to be going through this again. I mean, you bring in a young guy, they play well, job opening comes, does he leave to go for a job? And now you're looking for another OC. So what I'm hoping for is a veteran guy that Nick may or may not be familiar with, but Monken and Frank Reich at the top of my head. I've seen Jim Caldwell. I don't know how old Jim Caldwell is and whether or not he wants to get back into coaching. He's an old Indianapolis head coach as well. You want somebody that Nick is going to be able to work with, though, because what you don't want is an environment behind the scenes that isn't productive. There are too many chefs in the kitchen, too many voices, and I want a veteran because I think Jalen is more apt and those guys on offense are more apt to listen to someone that has a little more seasoning to them, So that's what I hope they do. These big name guys that we're thinking about, like a McDaniel, you would almost have to hope these guys don't get head coaching jobs. These guys want head coaching jobs.
Sure,
there are so many job openings. Now, what is it, 9?
I think, yeah.
Because with the 2 that just
Tomlin,
happened.
Well, and now the Steelers.
And now you got the Steelers.
Yeah.
So maybe 8 or 9 openings. These guys are all going to try to get head coaching jobs first. Then they're going to take coordinators with them unless they're calling the plays there, wherever they're going. So I don't even know what's going to be available there that is going to make it that much better next year.
So before we can I give one, before we look forward, take on this?
Yes, just real quick, this is per Mike Garafolo. The phrasing is important here. In the Eagles statement, Kevin Patullo is not fired. There's a chance he could remain on Nick Sirianni's coaching staff. Sources say, if I was Kevin Patullo, I would go get a job somewhere else. They've already told you, you're not going to be OC again or head coach here, so go get a job somewhere else.
Yeah, this is such a failure by the Eagles, right? They told us coming off of 2024 that they had learned from 2022. It was going to be different than 2023. They learned from 2018, and it ended up being essentially the same, right? I know they won the division and they won more games they did in 23, but they didn't win a playoff game. They're once again firing the coordinator. They're telling us they made a bad hire at coordinator by removing him 1 year later, right? So we'll see who they hire. I don't think it's that attractive of a job, to be completely honest. But like, this is a failure by them in the fact that they are now moving on from another coordinator after 1 year. Brian Johnson, 1 year. Kevin Patullo, 1 year. Sean Desai, half a year. Like, they have not been nailing these coordinator hires recently.
Well, that's on Nick, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's on everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
on this would be my statement, right? On that is
this one is definitely on Nick.
This one's on Nick
because this is his guy.
Would Brian Johnson be on Nick?
Honestly, I think he's a Howie guy.
I think they did it because Jalen was coming off a great 2022 year, and that's who Jalen wanted as OC.
Really? Yeah.
Coach says he knew him. He's known him since he was a kid. Mm-hmm. They were close friends. Which only reason why I say that, because I don't know how on board Nick was with that. And remember back then, there was a little bit of something with Nick and Jalen back then.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, to your point there, Eliot, I think it's a good point. Every time that it doesn't work, you fire the OC.
Right.
That's one of the reasons, and we'll get into why you think otherwise it's not a great position. But that is a big one. I'm going to go there. I'm going to look at this guy, your guy. Your guy. You hired your guy. The offensive line stunk. Saquon was probably not what he was. The quarterback and the wide receiver hated each other, and you blamed him? You know, who's next that's going to get the axe if this doesn't work out?
Also, all year, what do we hear? It's not him. It's not him. It's not him. It's not one guy. It's not him. It's the players. The players saying, it's not him. It's not him. It's execution. Nick saying, it's not him. It's not him. And now he's gone. So why is he gone? Or did you lie?
He's just been removed from being an OC.
Well, yes.
Well, I think he's still going to be here.
Well, yeah. I mean, still lost the job.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Clearly, they feel he was to blame. Maybe he is not going to be 100% of the pie, but we'll see who else goes, right? Is Nick going to go? Probably not. Is Jalen going to go? Probably not. The offensive line will be the same. Saquon will be back. Devontae will be back. AJ might go, but that won't be because of this. Like, that'll be a bunch of different things. So really the only central figure that it seems is going to get any type of punishment for what happened is going to be Patullo.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, I'm not saying it's fair to him, but one could argue he was ushered into the position before he was ready to take on the role. I'm just saying that's the flip side of the coin. That's the flip side of the coin is that I know it's not fair that he's the one that's getting the blame, but there are a lot of people, including yourself, who may have felt he didn't deserve to be the OC in the first place.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what happens in this coaching business. Somebody is going to take the fall. I don't believe they truly believe it was Kevin Patullo. I believe they felt something had to change, and that was the easiest thing to do from the standpoint of this will quiet down this outside noise with us. We and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but this is a vessel where people can come and voice their frustration. And the longer he remained on the staff, that was going to be a main talking point all off season
and into next season. Next season would be possible.
Yes, and into next season. And so they must have felt, hey, Kevin, we love you, man, but I'm sorry. Like, this is what it has to be.
This also validates everybody who said he was the problem.
Yes, to a degree, yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes, to a degree, yes.
Yeah. I actually want to make a Phillies comparison that I think is
sure he'll take that.
Ooh, no. I think it's a good one.
Don Mattingly?
No. I think it's a good one. We're not going to. I'll tell you about Guida, but afterwards, the Phillies comparison. Guida is not going to get rid of you after one bad year. In fact, you've had several bad years with your old windows and your doors, and they're here to help you. That sale, the big winter sale that I told you ended December 31st, now going through January. Big winter sale. Big doesn't even describe it. 40% off. 40% off every energy-efficient, expertly installed window. They're going to throw in a high-performance, low-E glass for free. And if you get a new door, 40% off that too. What kind of door? But really, any door. Insulated entry door, sliding patio door, garage door. You can start your project with no money down, no interest for up to a year. This is going through January. You got to act quickly. We're almost halfway done January. It's unbelievable. Call the experts at Guida today to set up a free, no-obligation in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or go to GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com. So here is the Phillies comparison and the something's got to change of it all. And you can't, to your points, you can't change the offensive line, probably can't change the quarterback, probably not going to change the receivers, not going to change the head coach. I bring you back to the end of the 2024 Philly season, where all of us looked at each other and we said, we think Rob Thompson is a good manager, but they can't change the players, so they have to change something, right? This is the thing. They got to change something. I think we all sort of agreed there. And they came back. Now, they didn't win the World Series, but they had a successful regular season, and it turned out the Phillies did not listen to the public outcry. They stuck by what they believed. They believed in their process of who they hired, and they stuck with him. And I think in the end, it was the right decision.
Not to cut you off, Spike. His best managerial job
was last year. It was
his best season.
And they stood up to it. And I don't think the Phillies all the time make the right decision. In fact, I think sometimes they lean into what fans want too much. But in that case, it would have been very easy for them to fire Rob Thompson, even fire Kevin Long. Now, they don't fire Kevin Long. What happens? Trey Turner has one of the best seasons of his career. Kyle Schwarber has the best season of his career. Bryson Stott comes back to normal. All these things. Like, I'm not saying it was the right, wrong, or indifferent. What I am saying is, to the process of it all, it leads you to believe that they have conviction in that part of it. And I think the issue with the Eagles is not getting rid of somebody because you have to get rid of somebody. It goes back to the thing you said before, is when you fail, then all of a sudden your conviction and what you believe in Kevin Patullo all of a sudden doesn't matter anymore. And that you didn't think he was the issue all of a sudden doesn't sound like it is true. And it sounds like you're making a move to let somebody absorb the blame so you can go about your business, or you didn't actually believe in the Kevin Patullo hire in the first place.
Yeah, I just don't get why they would hire a first-year coordinator and expect immediate results and then fire him when he, at times this year, looks like a first-year coordinator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
So to go back to, before we get in, like who will take the job, the job itself, right? Right now, here's what it is. It is a job with a head coach that is involved on the offensive side of the ball. It's a job with a quarterback that obviously has opinions on what wants to be run and all those things. And you're going into a job where we just saw what Kevin Patullo's life was like the past year, and then they fired him. Right, so if I'm a top coordinator thing, and I know Kellen Moore got a head coaching job, right, and Steichen did, so it's very hit or miss. But it is, talk about the ultimate pressure cooker job. You can come here, or you could be a head coach in a year, or you could come here and you could be donezo in a year. And so I think if you're a top coordinator, like, are the Eagles a team that you can look at and say, when things get tough, they will have my back. Like, they will stick by me. Or if I come here and Jalen doesn't play well, right, or like, am I just going to be the fall guy? Because that's what they've done to the other other two coordinators when things have not gone well.
215-592-9494. Eagles move on from Kevin Patullo as offensive coordinator, not officially fired, could remain on the staff. What do you think